Hello everybody, I'm Thomas, and welcome back to the 19th video of this series in which I'll be playing through the Hadrian's Wall solo campaign. Today I'll be attempting Fort 14, Abalava. The description reads, Abalava's location was strategic for guarding two nearby Solway fords, frequently used by raiding parties from the northern tribes. There is also evidence of two auxiliary forts and marching camps. Under the fort rules, I have to draw an additional fate card during each picked invasion. This time, though, I cannot acquire any diplomats. The fort goals is that I must complete all rows and columns of the scouting section and score 75 plus victory points. The challenge is to have no disdain at the game's end. Let's go ahead and just get started. Let's go ahead and see what my first supply card is. Okay, pretty even supply of stuff. Then let's see what my path card options are. So either gladiator strength or constructed landmarks. Don't really like either of those. I'll go with landmarks just because I'll probably get to those a little bit sooner than gladiators. I kind of have to go out of my way to do. So I get an extra servant and resource. Then my board gets me an extra resource. And yeah, with that, we are on our way with year number 1. So I think classic start is spending a builder to go ahead and get started on the wall. And then I will spend a resource to get started, on the fort, and then spend a resource to get started on the wall to get me a civilian. I will then go ahead and spend 2 servants up on mining and foresting. First will get me nothing. The second will get me a resource production along with a resource. And just so I don't forget, I'm gonna go ahead and cross out diplomats since I can't use them this game. I think I will go ahead and send my 3 soldiers I have out on the wall guard because I need some cohorts. The first one, I will go ahead and fill in the center. Then I will get a bit of discipline, not disdain. And then I will get another cohort to fill in, which I will go with the right one. I will spend a civilian over here on this track to get me a builder, which I will go ahead and put on the fort, and then spend another civilian on the performers track to get another builder, which I will put on the fort. Because then I can spend 2 resources on the wall. First gets me nothing, the next gets me a civilian. This may not be the best move, but I will spend 2 civilians on this track. First gets me nothing. The next will get me a soldier, which I will put onto the fort, which will get me a civilian back. But most importantly, now I can spend a resource on the wall, which will get me some renown, but mainly it'll get me a cohort to fill in, which I will go with the left one. So now I have 1 at each. I'm not fully protected since there's going to be 2 picks attacking, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, I'm not seeing any great moves here, so I think I will spend the civilian on the priest track, get a servant to put on mining and foresting, and then spend my 2 resources on the sippy. Probably not the best move, but I didn't see anything better. So that is the end of year 1. We're going to have 2 picks attacking. So I have 1, 1, and 1. There's a good chance one's going to get through. We got left and center. Okay, sitting good. So because of that, I get 1 Valor. And let's see what my new supply card is. All right, not too bad. And then my 2 path card options are either completed cohorts or filled temples. I will probably go with, filled temples. Because I am going to be wanting to complete cohorts because I'm not going to want disdain and there's going to be more picks attacking. But the filled temples, I might also want to try to do to get favors because that would help with extra picks attacking. I'll just go with completed cohorts. And the filled temples card will get me an extra 2 servants. Then my board gets me an extra 2 resources. And with that, we're on our way with year number 2. Lots I want to do. Mainly, I just need to get more cohorts going because there's going to be 3 picks attacking at the end of this year. So I think first thing I'll do is spend a builder, a servant, and a resource to build the small hotel because I like the small hotel. And that gets me a civilian. Okay, I will spend both builders on the fort. First gets me nothing, the next gets me a civilian. I will then spend 2 civilians down here on patricians. First gets me a resource, the next gets me nothing. I will then spend 2 resources over here on the wall. First gets me a civilian, the next gets me nothing. I'll then spend a civilian over here on patricians. That'll get me a soldier, which I will immediately go ahead and use to do some scouting. And I will just do some scouting at this bottom part to get 2 resources. Because then I got a lot of resources left. Okay, yeah, I think I see a move. So I can spend 3 resources to build the small workshop, which will get me a builder, which I will immediately use on the fort, getting me some discipline. Then I will use a resource on my wall to get another cohort, which I will go with the right one. Because then I will spend a civilian down here on patricians. That'll get me a bit of renown, but mainly I'm level 4, so I can do some more scouting. So I will spend that soldier to do a bit more scouting, and I will go with this kind of left part here. So that'll get me a resource and a servant. And then I will spend that resource immediately on the Sippy to get another cohort, which is kind of nice. I will go with the center. So I will spend this servant up here to do some mining and foresting. And then these two I will spend on a form to get a civilian. The civilian I will place over here to get some discipline, which gets me a builder. I will use that builder on the training grounds to slowly progress my wall guard. And as the end of the year, there's gonna be 3 picks attacking. So 3 picks attacking, I got 1, 2, and 2. So sitting all right, maybe, we'll see. Whoops, first one is hitting on the right, the next one right. So as long as it doesn't hit right again, okay, it hit right 3 times. Fun. So 1 pick broke through, which means I'm taking a disdain, but I also do get a little bit of valor. All right, let's see what my supply card is. Not too bad. And then my choice of path cards is either resource production or large buildings. Resource production, because I was actually going to make a point that my resource production is bad right now, and that's one thing I'm going to focus on this year. So I'm glad I got the card to make it even more worth it. So based on my board, right now I'm only getting 2. So yeah, that's not great, but I do have a small hotel, so I get a civilian. I do have a small workshop, so I get a builder. And with that, we're on our way with year number 3. So year number 3, first thing I'll do is build the medium granary, because that's always a year 3 thing for me. So that is done. What's next? I mean, I guess at this point, I also do need to build the baths, which is not fun. So first thing I'll do is actually spend these 2 civilians on the trader's track. First will get me a servant, next will get me nothing. I will then spend the servant up here on mining and foresting to get some resource production along with a resource. I will then go ahead and spend, let's go with 3 builders on the fort just to get that moving a bit. So because of that, I will get 2 civilians. I will then spend a resource on my Sippy, which gets me a civilian. I will then spend 2 resources on my wall. The first will get me a bit of renown, which gets me a civilian. The next will get me a civilian, so I get 2 civilians. And this is really good because I need civilians right now to do a lot of stuff. I need to progress down the patricians track. I need to get the traders track going, maybe build the small precinct, go down this track some more, lots of stuff I need to do. So first I'll use a civilian to go down the traders track. That'll get me a builder, which I'll go ahead and just send right to the fort. Yeah, I'll spend 2 civilians over here on the priest track, which will get me a servant. Then I will use a civilian and a servant up here to build the small precinct, getting me a little bit of piety along with a resource production and a resource. I will then spend this civilian over here on patrician's track. That'll get me a resource. I can spend 2 resources over here on my wall. First will get me nothing. The next will get me a bit of renown and a cohort to fill in, which I will go with the left one. Now that I'm level 5 down here, I can use this soldier for doing a bit of scouting. And I can just do the L-shaped kind of upside down, filling in that whole block there. So I got 3 of the columns down there completed. I will then spend this builder over here on the fort, getting myself a civilian. Because I can spend this civilian over here to get a builder to put back onto the fort. Yeah, I will spend 1 resource on my Sippy to get a cohort to fill in, which I will go with the center. And that will get me some discipline. And then my other resource will just go to the wall, not getting me anything. And with that, we're done with year number 3. There's gonna be 5 picks attacking. Okay, so 5 picks. I got 2, 3, and 2. So let's see how this goes. We got left. We got left again. Okay, let's just not see any more lefts. We got right, and maybe center. Okay, another left, so 1 broke through. So 1 broke through, so I'm still getting 1 valor, which will get me a soldier, but I am taking another disdain, unfortunately. All right, let's see what my supply card is here. All right, set that over there, grab my path card. So either completed wall guard section or completed wall section. Yeah, usually wall section is easier than wall guard. So yeah, I'll go with that. I'll put that there, and then the wall guard sections gets me an extra builder and an extra civilian. Then my resource production gets me 4 resources. All right, then my small hotel gets me a civilian. My small workshop gets me a builder, and with that, we're on our way with year number 4. So I definitely want to try to build the courthouse, maybe even the baths, because I'm going to have to start getting rid of that disdain that I'm slowly accumulating. So yeah, that's going to be a problem. I'll try to build the courthouse first, so I'm at the level I can do that. So I'll spend 2 servants, 2 resources, and a builder to build the courthouse, which gets me a bit of renown. I'll go ahead and use the courthouse ability since it's year 4 to get a servant. I will then spend a builder over here on the fort to get me some discipline, along with another cohort to fill in, which I will go with the right one. So that will get me a bit of discipline, getting me another builder. I'll go ahead and spend at least 2 of my soldiers on the wall guard. First gets me a bit of discipline, and the next will get me a cohort to fill in, which I will go with the left one, getting me some more discipline. I will then spend 2 resources on the wall. The first gets me a civilian, and the next will get me a cohort to fill in, which I will go with the center. Okay, I'm going to spend 2 civilians over here on the priest track. First will get me a bit of piety, and the next will get me a servant. I'll spend a civilian over here on this track, getting me a bit of discipline, which does get me a builder. Most importantly, then I can use the courthouse ability twice to get me an extra servant. Then I will spend 2 servants along with a builder and 2 resources to build the baths, which gets me some renown, which gets me an extra civilian. So I will spend both of these civilians on the priest track. First gets me some piety, and next gets me a servant. The piety gets me a servant, so I get 2 servants. Because then I will spend all 3 servants up here on mining and foresting. Gets me nothing, but then some resource production along with a resource. Because then I can use at least that resource to start filling in the baths. And what year is it? It's year 4, so I could fill in one of my disdain. I can then send the soldier to the wall guard and send at least one of the builders also to the wall guard. Is year 4, so they could fill in that, getting me a little bit of discipline. And I think that's it. I don't think I could do anything else with that builder. So at the end of year 4, there's going to be 7 picks attacking. Okay, so 7 picks. I got 3, 4, and 3. Let's see how this goes. We got left. We got center. We got center again. Okay, left. And right, okay, center. So am I good? I think I'm good at this point. Yeah, even though they hit right, I'm good. So because of that, I get 3 Valor. No picks broke through, so I'm not taking any disdain. And I get an extra soldier to start for the next year. So let's see what my supply card is for this year. All right, then my 2 path cards are Final Disdain or Completed Citizen Tracks. I'm going to go with Final Disdain because that's kind of one of the main things for this fort. So I get an extra servant and civilian for the citizen track card, and then I get 5 resources. Awesome. Then I get a civilian because of my small hotel, a builder because of my small workshop, and with that, we're on our way with year number 5. First thing I think I will do is go ahead and use the courthouse ability to get myself a servant. Then I will go ahead and use a resource on the baths to go ahead and fill in my other disdain I have. So I guess first thing I actually kind of need to do also is build the large granary. So builder, servant, and 2 resources to go ahead and build the large granary, and that gets me a bit of renown. So we spend 1 soldier on the wall guard to get a cohort to fill in. I can go left or right at this point. I'm leaning towards the right, so I'll go with that. I'll put 1 civilian down here on patricians. That gets me a little bit of renown. And then I'll put the other 2 up here on the traders track, getting me a resource. And then I will spend these 2 builders on the fort. First gets me nothing. The next gets me a civilian. And then I will spend 2 resources on the wall. First gets me a bit of renown, which gets me a civilian. The next gets me a civilian, so I get 2 civilians. I will use the courthouse ability to trade in a servant for a builder and then use that builder on the fort. I will spend a civilian up here on the traders track and then spend 2 civilians along with a servant to boost up to build the medium precinct to boost up my resource production, along with getting some discipline and a resource. Then I will spend this soldier on the fort to get me a civilian. I will spend the 2 resources on the wall. First gets me nothing, the next gets me a bit of renown, along with a cohort to fill in, which I will go with the left one. I will spend this civilian on this track to get a soldier who I will put onto the fort, and then spend a resource on the wall, getting myself a civilian, use that civilian up here on the trader's track, get myself a builder, put the builder on the fort, get myself a civilian. Oh boy, what next? I have some options. I'll probably just use that civilian on this track again, get myself some discipline. Discipline gets me a builder. Builder lets me complete the fort. I get some more discipline along with a cohort, and I'm gonna go with the center, getting myself some valor. Wow. At this point, I will spend the servant up here to do some mining and foresting, spend the resource on the sippy, right? Yeah, that's probably the best move. Sippy to get a little bit of renown. And yeah, with that, we're done with year number 5. There's gonna be 9 picks attacking. As far as my cohorts go, I have 4, 5, and 4. So let's see how this goes. I think 9 I should be able to withstand, but we'll see. We got right, center, left. All right, pretty even spread so far. Left, left, okay. Stop seeing some left. So we got right, center. Okay, a little bit more even. Center. I think we're good at this point, right? And center. Yeah, we're good. So because of that, I get 3 valor and no disdain. So I get a soldier for the start of next year, which is always nice. Now let's go ahead and see what my final supply card is. All right, not too bad. And my final 2 path cards, well, I know what one of them is. Completed scout columns. I've been waiting for that one. Or collected goods. Yeah, I'm not doing collected goods. Oh, yeah, no, this is fine because collected goods, yeah, this is good. Scout columns is good. That still worked out good, yeah. Because I get a civilian and a resource because of that. And then my board, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resources. Awesome. And then because of my small hotel, I get a civilian. And because of my small workshop, I get a builder. With that, we're on our way with the final year. Lots to do. Luckily, I don't have any disdain that needs covered up with the baths, so that's always a plus. I'll start with, I guess this is supposed to be year 5. Year 6, grabbing myself a servant using the courthouse. So I guess first order of business is I need to finish Patrician's track and get all the scout comms done. I'm gonna do that probably right off the bat just so I don't dilly-dally too much. So I'll go ahead and spend 3 civilians down there. First gets me a soldier. I'll grab that out of there. Second gets me a bit of renown, which gets me a civilian back. And then the last gets me a resource, which is pretty cool. And then I will spend 2 soldiers to do the last bit of scouting and just kind of cover up the rest of this. So I get 2 resources and a servant along with some valor for completing some rows. So 2 resources, a servant, and then I completed all 4 rows. And I get per row. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4 valor, which does get me a soldier. So I think I will go ahead and then spend all 3 soldiers up here on the wall guard. First gets me nothing, the next gets me a little bit of discipline, and the last one lets me fill in a cohort, which I could go with the right or left. They're looking pretty even. I'll go with the right one. That does get me a little bit of valor, which gets me another soldier. One of the nice things now is I am 15 down here on valor, so I can build the column, which I will do. I will spend a builder and 2 resources to, build the column. That gets me 2 piety, which is pretty nice. I also do need to start building landmarks for my landmark quest up there. I will spend 2 resources over here on the wall to go ahead and finish that up. I can get another cohort to fill in, and I will just go with the left one to keep it pretty even, get myself another bit of valor. Then I will go ahead and spend those 2 servants up here on mining and foresting to get myself a little bit more resource production along with another resource. And I'll spend that resource up here on the sippy. Just go ahead and complete that. I could fill in a cohort. I will go with the center one. That gets me a bit of discipline. So I get another builder. And I will immediately spend that builder along with 2 resources to build the statue here. Because I'm now 15 on discipline track. So I can get 2 renown because of that, which is always nice to have. Because then I could go ahead and spend a civilian up here on the trader's track, get some renown, which gets me a civilian, but then mainly I can spend a builder along with 2 resources to build, what was the one? The archway, right? For renown, yeah, archway. So that gets me 2 valor for building that, which gets me a bit of discipline, which is pretty cool. So I guess I will use a civilian over here to get a builder and try to figure out what I want to do with that builder. So I guess a good thing would maybe doing spending a servant, a builder, and a resource to build the small temple over here, right? Because I'm at least level 1, so that'll get me a bit of piety, which gets me a servant back, and then I will spend that servant that I just got to fill in the first part of the temple, and I'll go ahead and spend this other servant to fill in the other part and get a bit more piety, but mainly to get a favor, just in case. Yeah, I don't think there's too much more I can really do, because I could spend this soldier out here on the wall guard, but that doesn't really do anything. I have this civilian, I could put him there, get a resource. I have these resources I can't really do much with at the moment. Performance track wouldn't get me anything. These two are maxed out. This would get me a bit of piety. So I guess this would actually get me victory points. So that's probably the best. Gets me a bit of piety. I have 2 resources. If I had disdain, I could use the baths. I don't. So I don't think I can really do anything with these resources. I'm going to say, yeah, that's it. So final year 11 picks are going to be attacking. Okay, 11 picks. I have 5, 6, and 5 as my cohorts go. So let's see how this ends. Got center, left, right. Even spread so far. Right. Okay, let's chill with the right. We got center, left. Come on, give me another left. Okay, another right. So this one can only get hit 1 more time. Center. I think at this point we're good. Even, yeah, it can hit center, and that's 5, but that has 6. This only got hit 4. We're good. So because of that, I get 4 valors. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gets me a little bit of renown, and I don't take any disdain. So let's go ahead and tally up what I got. So for renown, I got 16. For piety, what did I get? I got 8. Then valor, I got 22, and discipline, I got 16. Let's go ahead and total up my path cards up here. 13, 14. I think I got 15. I think 15. That's a terrible looking 6 there. So 15 for my path cards, minus 0 for my final disdain. And let's see what I got. So we got, let's see here, 16 plus 8 plus 22 plus 16 plus 15, 77. And was that, I think I only needed 75, 70? I only needed 75. I had no disdain, all of the columns filled. I didn't take any diplomats, so I think that's a win. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Since I completed this fort, I'll be on with the next fort next time, so subscribe if you want to catch that. And if you want to see one of my recent videos, click up there in the top right corner of the screen.